Reddit dit to do and welcome into More Important Issues. It is Monday, October 28th. I know what you're thinking. Excuse me, that we're coming to you a day late. Like Landon said, we celebrated too hard. That was it.
A little too hard.
I think South Carolina fans would be surprised because, they think they're hot stuff, thinking that we spent a ton of time celebrating. No. We enjoyed the victory. 24 hours. We're on to UAB.
Yeah.
We're not thinking about you that hard. Don't flatter yourselves.
We got to talk about it today. But
yeah, I mean,
then we're done. Then we're done.
But we were talking about it. We're not celebrating anymore. We're moving on. We're just talking about it. We're recapping.
I'm gonna put on this cap just because.
Landon will don the victory cap, of course.
Just because it's necessary.
Yeah, you won.
Right.
You got to wear the victory cap. It necessarily. Obviously, it can be a celebratory thing, but it doesn't have to be.
Right.
So, but yeah, South Carolina fans are flattering themselves on Twitter like, oh, Tennessee's celebrating a national championship. No, we're just celebrating a good old-fashioned ass whooping. That's it.
Yeah, just like...
Nothing else.
How long we heard about they beat Georgia, we're still hearing about it.
For far too long.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, don't flatter yourselves too much. It's Halloween week. You excited?
No.
No, you don't care?
Well, I mean, it's weird because last year we got some candy, we got excited, it's our new house, and we had 2 trick-or-treaters. And they came at the same time.
It's pretty fun. You got to eat all the candy. Actually, I think I ate most of it.
So do you I was talking about this today. Do you think dentists like this holiday or dislike it?
I mean, they make money off of it, so they love it.
But they have to work too.
They make money. They make money. They're fine.
It's worth it. It's worth the work.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Guys, before we really get into the podcast, I'm going to tell you about my friends at MyBookie. As a true football fan, you already know just as sure as the season change, Tom Brady will keep the Patriots in the game. Every weekend, our favorite gridiron warriors put their skills to the test, so why aren't you doing the same? We're almost halfway through the NFL season, so now is the time to get off the sidelines and get in the game with MyBookie. MyBookie is the premier place to bet on all your favorite pro and college football action every weekend. They always have the most up-to-date lines and the most prop bets of any sportsbook on the planet. So if you're going to bet this season, do the smart thing and bet with the best at MyBookie. If you're the kind of guy who likes to bet a little and win a lot, we all do, don't we? Try a parlay. Pick your locks for the week, put them together in one parlay bet, and when they all come through, the rewards will be huge. Huge. Tired of watching the games from the couch with nothing to gain? Head on over to MyBookie, guys. They're the best bet. Best part is if you join now, MyBookie will double. You heard me right. Double your first deposit. If you put in $1,000, if you put in $1,000, they'll give you $1,000. It's that simple. That's double your initial deposit, so you can use it on all your favorite picks. Here's the catch: you got to use the promo code CHAIR. You need that promo code CHAIR to double your cash. Visit mybookie.ag today. You play, you win, you get paid. Don't wait any longer. Head to MyBookie now. Double that cash with the promo code CHAIR, not armchair. I know that'll confuse you. Chair.
Get paid.
Chair. Get paid today. Start making some money. And if you want to toss some money our way, we'll take it.
Right.
Win the money, toss it back. A little kickback.
Never turn down money.
No.
Money.
Absolutely not. I will, I tell South Carolina fans I'm not even, like when I say this, obviously I'm happy about the win. I'm more happy about the feeling of beating the piss out of an SEC team. In the second half. When's the last time Tennessee's been a second half team that you can remember?
16?
Were they a second half team though then?
Yeah,
I guess they were.
Yeah, because 15,
you had those miracle wins.
15 were the first half teams.
Yeah.
The 16 were a second half team.
And then we weren't a second half of the season team in 16 though.
No, we were not.
We weren't. And that's why I'm like, I do want to know this. This is one thing I want to ask. So all you Jeremy Pruitt, I don't know if haters is the right word, but I guess haters. That want him gone after the Georgia State and BYU loss, which I didn't want him gone, but I can kind of understand to an extent where you're coming. To an extent. Some of you guys went over the top, but I understand to an extent why you'd want him gone. Right. Where are you at now on him? And I'm not being sarcastic. I just want to know. I'm curious what your thoughts are. Leave them in the comments. Let us know. I'm just curious. Because I've always been, I think we're trending in the right direction. I'm feeling good about us. And even now, I'm not like, he's the guy. Let's look at the realistic picture of it. You've only won 3 games this season.
Yeah.
You've got 4 more games, and only one of those is a guaranteed win. After the Georgia State game, you can't even say that.
Yeah.
So you got 3 more wins to get bowl eligible. And even getting bowl eligible this year, I mean, yeah, it's a feat. And, good on our team, good on our coaching staff for doing it. But, it's not where you should be necessarily. After, going into the season, you should have been better. You should have beat Georgia State. After the BYU game, you say you should have beat BYU. I'm just curious how people who are completely out on Pruitt, how they feel now.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like he's gotten people at least 1 foot in, 1 foot out.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say I'm both feet in, but I'm definitely not like he's the guy.
Yeah, I mean, he's looking, especially if you look at the last 3 games, he's looking more and more like the guy.
Absolutely. I love the way this team's playing. That's one thing I don't want to be overlooked is, man, you got to be proud of this team.
Oh, yeah.
You got to be proud of this team. I mean, yeah, 3 wins isn't ideal, but what they had to do to get to number 2 and number 3 win, they had to fight hard. Yeah. And then look at this last game. They're down to their 3rd string quarterback by the end of the game. And he's balling out. And, I mean, if you then listen to this podcast for a while, you know that last season I said I thought Stroud was the most talented quarterback on this roster. If Mauer's out, I still think that. I don't know if Mauer's healthy. I don't know where I stand on most talented. But, I think he's the better. And that doesn't mean I don't think JG deserves a shot. That's another thing I want to say. Credit to JG. I mean, he made mistakes. He hadn't looked good this season. He has a detrimental end to this last game. And then he comes out and responds and plays great. I have no knocks on him for this game. Now, I'm not saying he's an incredible quarterback now. Do not mishear me when I say that. But he responded well and played well, and he deserves credit for that. Yeah, he's another guy I'm proud of because he blocked out all that noise. I said he shouldn't start. And, I guess he didn't start, but comes in for the first half.
The game plan was to play JG more than JT Shroud. JT Shroud started. So when JG came in...
did Juwan Jennings start?
Yeah, Juwan Jennings started. But they announced JT as a starting quarterback. Right. So once, JT did fine, and he came out. But the plan was that was Garantano's game.
Absolutely. Oh, I agree wholeheartedly. Yeah. Like, you're absolutely right.
But yeah, what a turnaround. Because everybody was saying, where... The biggest question going into this game was, where is JG mentally? After the heat he took from the fan base, the media... he had to apologize to the players, the coaches, so, they weren't behind it either.
Right.
So, where was he at mentally? I think that's huge for him to overcome that and play a great game.
Yeah, he played great. You cannot knock the kid, especially when you consider not only did he play great, but he responded well too. And he had to make a couple tough throws. He had his wide receiver. Callaway makes a great play, though, on a deep ball. Plays like that, he had help along the way, but still had to come out and play really well. And he did. But the team as a whole, and man, I don't know how you felt after the opening play from scrimmage. Whew. I was like, what kind of day is this about to be?
Oh, yeah.
Because it's something we talked about on Wednesday night, prior to the game, about how our DBs get caught looking into the backfield too much. Opening play, gets caught on a play action. I'm like, what kind of day are we set to have?
Yeah, that was just a terrible angle by Nigel Warrior. And then the linebackers didn't get depth on that as well.
Jalen McCullough let what it looked like his guy go untouched. I mean, there were several people you look at. Yeah, the linebackers were not where they should have been either. It was not a good play all around defensively.
No.
And even the offense, the next drive, tries to respond in a couple plays. And, I'm not saying they didn't go 3 and out.
No.
And they even had a Juwan Jennings pass go for would have been, I think, on the other side of the 50, and gets called back because Brandon Kennedy gets downfield too fast. And I don't know, he just wasn't aware of what was going on in the play because, plenty of time had passed by that he would probably think it's either been scrambled or thrown away or something. So
I went and watched that play. Yeah, he was easy, 9 yards down the field.
Yeah, I was like, what? Then I realized, Juwan Jennings did hold on to the ball for long because South Carolina did a pretty good job of covering the play.
Yep.
Marcos Callaway just made a phenomenal play. So
was it senior night? Because we played like it.
It must have been. Did you hear? So speaking of Juwan Jennings, I don't know if I remember. I thought I remember listening to the whole rant after he got kicked off the team by Brady Hoke. Did you see the video somebody posted today?
Yeah, I did see that.
He's like, I hate Vanderbilt. I hate him with a
passion. Oh, yeah, you didn't see that part?
I just don't remember it.
Okay.
Because me, as someone who despises Vanderbilt, I'm like, oh, man, that's my quarterback. Dude,
build that man a statue. Yes. Name a freaking road after him. Do something. I mean, that that dude has given his, like, we talk about give your all for Tennessee. He has truly been an ambassador and gave his all for Tennessee.
Absolutely, 100%.
And 2 years ago, we tried to kick him off.
Yeah, and that's a dumb mistake it's a dumb mistake to kick him off because it was obvious whatever he was doing. He was trying to play coming off an injury. And maybe he was arguing with the training staff too. I don't know what all was behind it. But it's obvious he was not seeing eye to eye. The rumor is he wanted to play quarterback. I think he even said that, didn't he?
Yeah.
And he probably deserved to be playing quarterback that year against Vanderbilt. And, probably got emotional. And in the middle of practice, the coaching staff decides that's the time you don't kick him out of practice, you kick him off the team. Or I guess they kicked him out of practice and then kicked him off the team.
Yeah.
But you're going to kick an emotional guy, especially this day and age with social media, cell phones, and all that. You kick him completely out of practice. An emotional guy like Juwan Jennings, probably not a good idea. But he gets
One of your best players, too.
Yeah. Gets a second chance, responds really well, like Jeremy Pruitt mentioned today. That's awesome to see. Another shout out, I'm going to give the team more shout outs in a second, but 87,000 was the official attendance. And it was freaking rocking.
Yeah.
What a
freaking atmosphere.
Let's get 13,000 more in there. 15,000 more in there.
Turn it up. Boy.
Well, it's going to be... I know it's Vanderbilt, and it's probably going to be cold. But first off, we haven't been Vanderbilt in, 3 years? Mm-hmm. Show up. 102,000. Loud.
Yeah, I think especially we knock off UAB. You take care of business with Missouri and Kentucky. I think the biggest question mark for me right now is can this team go on the road and win a game?
Oh, yeah. You got
that's my biggest question right now. Can they respond? And they've done a great job, especially in this game, responded well.
Right.
Players responded well. The team responded well from that first play. Can they go and win on the road?
Yeah.
That's my biggest thing. But if you do take care of business, then Vanderbilt is there and, pack that place.
Yeah, and you're going to get Kentucky and Missouri on the road, and Vanderbilt when you consider at home, probably UAB too. You're going to get their best shots. You're a team that's seeing momentum.
You're hot.
And these teams are all fighting to be bowl eligible. Well, besides Missouri, are all fighting to be bowl eligible too. I guess Vanderbilt's out, but they might, depending on what they do.
Missouri's still fighting too?
Well, they're not postseason eligible.
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
so
you're right.
But Missouri's looking to respond. They've dropped a game to Vanderbilt and dropped a game to Kentucky. They'll be looking to respond. I don't know who they have in the upcoming weeks, but
I think they play Florida. I think right, or Florida and Georgia right before us.
Okay, so they might be beat down. It's even more reason for them to respond. You look at Kelly Bryant, who came to Missouri. He was ready to weather the storm that was the postseason ban, and still expecting to have a great season, and it just hadn't been that way. They'll look to take advantage of a Tennessee team that's we played really good against South Carolina. We played really good against Mississippi State. We played pretty good against Alabama. A team that's rolling, but we know that we're not great because we know we're not deep. I know our quarterbacks played great this week. They did. But that doesn't mean they're going to play great next week. But neither of those guys and Brian Maurer are proven guys yet.
Yeah.
They've had good games, but they're not proven guys yet. So that's a win on Missouri's schedule that they can get. So you're going to get a good shot from them. And same for Kentucky, and same for Vanderbilt, and same for UAB, whose defense is ranked 5th. I know their opponent's schedule, but they're good. You still got to play good at some point,
Yeah, absolutely. You have to show up. Each of these games, you have to show up. You can't just cupcake. It's not. Right. You're not playing ETSU. You're not playing UTC. No teams like that are left on your schedule.
Right.
So you got to come out and play. But my thing with Missouri, do they check out knowing that they're not?
And maybe that is something.
Do they just check out? Kind of like we did last year. They were just done with the season. It was, we were fighting to be bowl eligible, but I don't think anybody really cared.
It seemed like nobody wanted to go to a bowl.
Yeah, they wanted to get to next year.
Right.
That was I think that was an issue with the coaching staff. They were wanting to get to next year.
Oh, definitely. It was obviously a program as a whole problem.
Yeah.
So, I looking at this team, I wrote down a couple names that I want to mention. Warrior, Schamberger, and Bennett and Alontae Taylor and Kenneth George on the defensive side of the ball. Obviously Batuli had a great game. Toto had a great game. Those are guys that usually don't get the recognition because Batuli's there in the stat sheet every week. Toto this year in the stat sheet every week. Daryl Taylor, now he had a coming out party, I think, for this year.
Yeah.
Because, everybody's like, where is that? I think he was third team All-American, All-SEC, whatever.
Yeah, something like that.
And hadn't had that kind of year yet. And this game had 2 sacks.
2 sacks, 2 big pass deflections too.
Yeah.
So one was on 4th down to to stall South Carolina's drive. I mean, he had a huge game.
Right. But those guys on the defensive side of the ball, especially Schamberger, or not Schamberger, sorry. Schamberger. A guy that I haven't been bought into. He has did he get the sack or was it just a hurry? I think he got the sack. Came off the edge on a blitz.
So he had a TFL. He had a tackle for loss.
Okay, so
he hit the running back.
Okay, yeah. But a great blitz off the edge, and then several good pass breakups, and then a couple really good tackles in open field. That's not the old Sean Schamberger. That's the new guy who's come out and really fixed his game and played really good football lately.
Yeah, I thought he played well as well. And then Warrior had a good game.
Yeah, he did. Which I think he's been kind of trending in the right direction. Right. And then now it's starting to. It looks like he's starting to figure it out.
Yeah, it looks like this whole defense is kind of. It's like contagious. Mm-hmm. First it was when Batuli came back. It was like this defense had a whole new swagger to it. Right. The defensive line bought in. Nigel Warrior has played out of his mind the past 3 or 4 weeks. Mm-hmm. You said Alontae Taylor. I thought Bryce Thompson played pretty well. Should have had a pick.
I wrote down Alontae Taylor and Kenneth George because Kenneth George has been starting lately. I thought both of them played really, really well beyond what they've been playing.
So I have a question about
that's why I wrote those two names
Alontae Taylor that I'll go ahead and mention real quick. This is from Bradley Wells. He says, a bunch of guys and I have noticed Alontae Taylor not getting as many reps on defense. Could you see him making the switch to receiver next season?
Mm-hmm. No. Yeah. I don't think there's too much need a defensive back, and he's still number 3. Yeah. So, yeah, he's behind. He's been beat out by Kenneth George, but they're rotating.
I think he's still kind of in the doghouse a little bit, but he does come in the second half when you really need stops. Yeah. So I think, eventually we'll see him become more of that starter that we saw last year.
It's certainly possible.
Because he just gave a different kind of energy. Did you notice it in the game?
I didn't notice an energy. I noticed him and Kenneth George both. You mentioned in the second half, especially in the second half, both of them making plays. Yeah, and competing. Obviously they're not in the game at the same time, so they're essentially splitting reps and still able to make those plays. That's why I wrote those names down. You mentioned Bryce Thompson. I feel like that's the same reason I didn't write Batuli and Toto down. Those are guys that are making plays every game. Yeah,
let's just mention those guys real quick. So Jawan Jennings, 7 receptions, 174 yards, 2 touchdowns. Daniel Batuli, 15 tackles, a tackle for loss, a block punt, recovery for a touchdown. Darrell Taylor, 2 sacks, 2 pass deflections. Marquez Callaway, 3 receptions, 102 yards, 1 touchdown, and a punt return for a touchdown. And then I also had Kevon Bennett, JT Shrout, and JG was 11 for 19, 229 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
Those are some. Again, great game.
And another guy, and he was awarded today, and that was Brandon Kennedy. And everybody was like, "Oh, I didn't really notice," and you're not going to notice because they didn't get a sack.
You typically notice the offensive line as a whole, yeah, and they played great, and that's something I was going to mention later. We can go ahead and talk about it. Well, we'll get into it later in terms of because I want to talk about it, break down the tweet about them being better at every position, and we will in a second. But yeah, the offensive line played really well, which definitely helps suffocate that front seven. That's good. We know they're good. We recognize that on Wednesday.
Yeah, Javon Kinlaw is, I think I saw the graphic. It was like he's the number, he's a 32nd overall prospect in this upcoming NFL draft by Todd McShay, and had 1 tackle.
Wow. There were a lot of times that, I don't know what their final stat. I didn't look at it. Tackles for a loss. I don't know what their final stat was. It wasn't high, and there were a couple plays that, could have probably been tackles for a loss, but it was only one guy meeting our running back at the line of scrimmage. Our running back was able to get that yard where it wasn't. So our offensive line did a really good job of picking up their blocks and staying on their blocks and make, if the running back was having to make someone miss at the line, it wasn't 2-3 guys. It was 1 guy. And that's a lot easier to do than fighting someone off in the backfield.
Yeah, I think they're doing a good job as playing as a unit and not like each individual positions. If you notice the tight ends, they had a great game blocking.
Yeah, both of them.
Both of them didn't catch a pass, but they did a great job blocking. I think
Dominic Wood Anderson probably does if he doesn't get held in the end zone on the 4th and 1.
Yeah, Jennings had a play that he bounced it outside and and Tim Jordan was his lead blocker, and he went and pancaked somebody.
Yeah.
So I mean, they're playing it. They're playing as one. You know, it's not just did the offensive line play well? Did the wide receivers play well? The whole offense played well.
Absolutely. It took the offensive line that touchdown pass to Callaway, really good throw from Stroud. That depends on your offensive line blocking really well, and they did.
Yeah, especially that right tackle. Like if he doesn't,
Stroud's probably out of the game too if he doesn't get his block. Yep. So yeah, the offensive line definitely played great, and they have the last 3 weeks. It goes into what and we played. It's not a coincidence we played good the last 3 weeks, and that they've played good, like that position group. Every single former Tennessee football player we've had on here, where's the game one? They might be a running back, a wide receiver. I don't think we've had any big men on, and they all say this. They all say the same thing. It's one in the trenches. Yep. They know that their position is secondary to that. It's one in the trenches.
Yep.
It starts and ends there.
I think this coaching staff deserves a lot of credit, especially Jim Chaney. I feel like he earned his money in this game with 2 backup quarterbacks.
I don't know about his money. He's earned some money. He's got a lot of money on the table. I need to earn it the next 4 weeks.
Yeah, I mean he'll earn it, but like your investment, it looked like a good return on investment.
Great game plan yesterday or Saturday.
Because those quarterbacks, especially JT, I'm sure like he was, his stomach was fluttering. There was some butterflies in there.
That was an electric game.
Yeah,
and I mean it was a rowdy crowd. There were a lot of times on offense that we were on offense that it was still buzzing and really loud just because people were excited what was going on. So it couldn't have been super easy for our offense to communicate and make stuff happen either. And I'm not knocking our crowd. You have 100,000 people, 87,000 people there that are really excited. It's going to be loud the whole time. That's how it goes.
Yeah, I thought, man, that atmosphere was electric. It was awesome.
My favorite moment fan-wise in that game. Well, I'll take it back because the KPD tweets were awesome. Where you could just very noticeably hear what we were saying or chanting. But the downs in the South Carolina was coming out of the north end zone, and they had to reset the play clock, and they couldn't get it reset because the announcer couldn't. So it ended up being the crowd cheered for like a minute and a half.
Yep.
At an absolutely deafening pitch. Like it was just loud.
The ref, you suck.
And that one was awesome too. Someone made the joke, like, I think it was Jesse's like, I thought they were waiting for us to quiet down. And like, that was not going to happen.
No.
So
they would have waited a while.
It's Neyland has been an easy environment to win in over the last 10 years. If our team plays anything like that and our fans act anything like that, it is going to go back to that place that teams do not want to visit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And right now, there's not going to be a team in the world that goes, Neyland's tough to play in, because it hadn't been.
Mm-hmm.
It hadn't been. And
I'm sure South Carolina's thinking it right now.
Yeah. I mean, they don't want to come back. Just applaud the players that made the plays happen, that were able to get the crowd going that way. And the crowd it would have been easy to check out after that first play. It would have been easy to.
I thought JT Shroud came in and did a good job. I think Jim Chaney had a game plan to kind of get him in a groove, do some, short throws and get him comfortable where he's able to make that bomb later on in the game. So I thought that was huge.
I like that with JG. We threw more over the middle.
Yeah.
I mean, those throws, obviously, you got to get the right looks from the defense, and, you got to set up those plays, but they're easier throws to make than...
Well, South Carolina messed up. They put a kid, Jamie Robinson, who almost went to Tennessee, a true freshman, put him on Juwan Jennings, and Juwan Jennings freaking abused
Absolutely
him.
Bullied him. Which it does go to show how bad South Carolina is at tackling. Maybe it just goes to show how good Najee Harris and Juwan Jennings are. But, I mean, they couldn't bring... It took third and fourth tackles to bring Juwan Jennings down.
Yeah,
I don't remember them bringing him down with one, other than the touchdown, which he was already going to the ground, bringing him down with one person. So...
Oh, I don't think so either.
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to picture him running through all his
catches. I think he only touched the ground like a couple times.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because usually he's breaking tackles until like there's a big pile and he's still up and they blow the whistle or they like push him out of bounds.
Right.
That's the only time you stop playing with Juwan Jennings as a football.
Absolutely.
The officiating still sucks.
I've got that written down. Refs still suck.
They suck.
And there were a couple plays. I was really mad about the Maurer non-first down. I think they got it right, in fairness. I also think it was a lot closer than the ref.
The what?
Shrout.
First
down. I think they got it right, but I think it was a lot closer than they spotted the ball too.
Mm-hmm.
I think they spotted it a yard behind where it should have been, which puts it like right at the first down marker.
Oh, Pruitt lit into him.
Dude, you can hear it on the broadcast.
Oh, yeah.
He said, bring your effing ass here, or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, shoot.
Yeah.
It was, yeah. And then,
I rewatched the game last night, and that was one I was like, oh.
I hadn't quite finished it. I think I'm a little bit past that point.
Which, my initial reaction was like, you got to pick up that first down.
And I think he thought he had the ball across. In fairness, sort of to him, I agree with you. Like, you got to make sure you actually get there.
Yeah, you got to get it.
But, yeah, he definitely thought he had a better look at it than it was. They did miss a bad holding call on Jameer Johnson. Was it Jameer Johnson? Pretty much tackled the guy out of bounds.
Oh, nice.
And tore his helmet off. Jameer Johnson falls down like this and slings him out of bounds, and his dude's helmet falls off. Easy holding call. I don't know how they miss it. But then, they miss plenty of PIs, face mask.
God, that face mask was the worst thing I've ever seen in my life.
Easy calls.
You had the line judge he was like me to you.
Yeah. I can tell you right now, after the way Jeremy Pruitt acted that game, there's not going to be a line judge in the country that wants to work a Tennessee game because they're afraid to be on his side.
Oh, yeah. I mean, maybe that could be a good thing or a bad thing.
Could be a good thing. I mean, I will say this. Jeremy Pruitt's, a lot of people were upset. Not a lot of people. A few people on Facebook mainly were upset about his personal foul penalty on sportsmanlike conduct. First off, if you're going to get it, you might as well earn it there. They only got like 4 yards from it because it was half the distance.
Mm-hmm.
Might as well. Second off, I feel like a great time to stick up for your player. Like, you got to pick and choose when to stand up for your player, and I feel like you chose the right time.
Yeah, so I have a quote that he said during that. He says, he was talking about Darrell Taylor and the targeting penalty. He said, I don't know. I asked the same question. I got a 15-yard penalty. We probably would have held him if I kept my mouth shut, but I'm going to stick up for my players. I guarantee that. I mean, dude, that's...
Yeah.
That quote right there is what this team is buying into.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. He is, he's got their back. They've got his back. And it's definitely shown. You mentioned the energy on the field.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got that just team football energy feel. I think you mentioned like week 2 or 3 how we just were not rallying to the football. Like it did, and you open yourself to a lot of trouble when you don't do that.
Yep. They've
been doing that lately. There were so many plays last night where we had 10, 8, 9, 10, 11 guys at the football every down. And that's huge. And that shows team football, effort football. That's going to win you some games.
And I think it's a lot of flexibility, too, with this coaching staff saying that, if something's not working, they're just going to go away from it. Right. They're not going to keep pounding it if it's not going to work.
Yeah.
So making adjustments, especially in the second half, I mean, South Carolina was up. They had 21 points at half.
That was another thing I was going to say about the crowd. The way we finished out the half, I could understand checking out then, too. And we didn't.
Yep. I mean, a shutout in the second half.
The team didn't.
24 unanswered points. And I think the name of the game was explosive plays.
Yeah.
8 completions over 19 yards.
Who's that? Sorry.
8 completions over 19 yards.
Oh, yeah. No, that was the most 20-yard plus plays since, I can't remember how long. Maybe 16?
Crazy.
I don't know. I was watching the game and they mentioned it. Like, in the third quarter, we had already surpassed that point.
Yep.
So.
What about Pruitt going to Gus's?
Loved it, man. Love it. That's my... First off, he got French fries. You got to get cheese beans, my guy.
We got him that's what his wife wanted.
Especially for a pregnant wife. I'm telling you, she would love...
Is she pregnant?
Yeah, 6 months pregnant.
Oh.
I was trying to figure out. 6 months wasn't enough time. That would have been May. But I was like, I wonder what happened that... I thought maybe it was the night he got Big Jim Chaney. He was like, let's celebrate, baby.
Thinking of Big Jim?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Absolutely.
I don't know about that.
Somebody tweeted it. I kind of hope it's true. I'm sure it's not. Someone was like, Jim Chaney has his own elevator in Neyland.
Oh, dude, he was on the field quick.
I was like, I'm sure they got it installed his first time around because he was a big dude then.
Yeah.
You got to try to limit the strain on the elevator cables.
You got to change them out every couple games.
Every game you got to change them out. Yeah, I'd say I'd definitely pick up Jeremy Pruitt's tab at Gus's. I don't think I'd pick up Jim Chaney's tab at Gus's. I love you, Jim, but that might be a month's work.
Yeah, one of my favorite moments of the game was Trey Smith in a cowboy hat. That's good.
That's apparently awesome. It was the same cowboy hat Bowden wore in the video too.
I saw that.
So that's good.
Interesting. Oh, and friends in low places, is that the tradition? Because that's freaking awesome.
Here's my thing: if we win out, or if we even get bowl eligible, you have to keep playing it. Like next year. Don't care if Garth Brooks ain't coming. You got to play it.
He's got to come back.
You gotta, every November. November, get that.
Bring
boy
it back.
We'll
sell it out. So I mean, it's just money for him. He's just got to sing a little bit.
Exactly. We need to get him like I'm sure
on the podcast.
Yes, but like the Pride of the Southlands had like Charlie Daniels. Now you got to get Garth Brooks.
Garth, baby.
Garth. We talked about how much fun it'd be to tailgate that concert. We might do it.
That would be fun.
It'd be awesome.
It's also funny to watch the Jumbotron because you get like, they do like the student section and half of them don't know the song and they're just like trying to mouth. Some do, but some have no clue what's going on. Sad. Yeah. You got to know Garth. If you don't know Garth,
you just got to know that song. That's it.
Yeah.
Then you know Garth.
Yeah, exactly. That's the only song you need to know.
Absolutely. And if you don't have a beer, go get you a beer. You can't bring whiskey into the stadium. You shouldn't.
Yeah. Man, that game was fun.
It was. I had a great time, especially watching the South Carolina fans in front of me who were being just jackasses leave.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, see you guys. And then he was like, here's the thing. And if you come and like talk to me and I'm just like sitting there like, and I maybe don't look like I'm having fun, I have resting bitch face, like really bad.
Ooh.
Like if I'm standing there and like nothing's going on, I'm definitely just staring off.
Yeah, my wife is always asking me, "What's wrong? We won." I'm like,
I'm just thinking, like I'm just sitting here.
I'm a thinker, man.
So South Carolina fans walk by me talking trash and like, "Why are you mad? Are you mad?" I'm like, "We're up by 10. I'm in a great mood." I was like, "What do you mean?"
Yeah, but like every Tennessee fan is on the edge of their seat because they know how fast that 10-point lead can diminish.
That's why I probably look sad. I'm sitting there thinking about all the 10-point leads we've lost in the last couple years.
Yeah.
How fast could this happen?
Mm-hmm. I'm over here like counting down the clock in like increments. If we can just stop them from like scoring with 3 minutes left, I think we can run it out. Yeah.
The block punt, man, a block punt.
Dude, you said it. I'll give my man Caleb credit.
I'm telling you, dude.
He called it special teams.
General Nealon was a genius. I'm just following his maxims. The special teams is where the breaks are made. I mean, those 2 touchdowns literally flipped the entire game.
Yeah.
Especially the momentum of the game. Because you look at Callaway's, we failed 4th and 1 on the 1 yard line.
Yep.
Or on the 2 yard line. We could have gotten a first down, right?
No, I don't think
we
so.
Couldn't. Okay, so we needed the touchdown. Yeah, we did need. You're right. We needed a touchdown. 4th and 1 on the 1, and get stopped. I mean, I know our offense is feeling deflated. Then Callaway gets that touchdown. We're right back up. We're good. Yep. I think that was a big changing point for our defense too.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Plays for South Carolina started. They did score after that, but they became harder to come by for South Carolina.
Yeah, I think we were tired too.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Needed just a little energy boost. We started doing the sniffing salts on the sideline.
Yeah, all the defensive linemen, when they saw Callaway, they're like, that's awesome, but crap.
I gotta go. Yeah, absolutely. I also mentioned, I know we hated the Darrell Middleton targeting. I mean, look, it's textbook targeting. I don't disagree. And it sucks because, like, what else can he do?
Yeah, he's 6'7".
He tried to get low.
Yeah.
That's why I hit him in the chin. He tried. But it did. Like, it's how the rule book's written. It sucks. I'm mad about the roughing the passer call that led to the targeting penalty.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's why they went and reviewed it. Otherwise, it probably gets picked up. Like, it's not roughing the passer.
Yeah.
He hit him right as the ball was released. In fact, I think he tried to swat the ball as he jumped to him. So, it is what it is. But I think Helinski stopped. I told you this after the game. I think he stopped stepping into throws after that one. Like he started feeling some pressure.
When you make a true freshman throw 51 times and you're not in the Big 12, you probably win in the football game. 28 for 51, like not great.
I mean, not bad for 51 throws though.
But he was skipping them like it was. Ooh.
Oh, I mean, there were some bad throws.
He hit 319 yards, but 75
there were
came on one play.
Right, and there were a few that his wide receivers dropped. That
credit some of that too.
Credit to our defense though too for making them. I mean, there were a lot of plays that we were there right as the ball arrived and broke up some. I mean, I think Daniel Patulli had 2 big pass breakups where he broke them up at the receiver, not at the line or anything.
Yep.
And 2 big pass breakups. That those stats don't get read off when he wins the SEC. Did you mention the SEC award winners? I know you mentioned their stats.
So
did you mention the actual awards though?
So Juwan Jennings was SEC Offensive Player of the Week. Daniel Batuli was SEC Defensive Offensive Player of the Week, and then Brandon Kennedy was SEC Offensive Lineman of the Week.
That's awesome. It's the first time since 1994 that Tennessee's gotten both SEC Players of the Week.
And we should have got special teams, too.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, 100%.
Callaway should have got.
Yeah. Or Batuli.
Yeah,
give them both.
They're like, why is Tennessee getting all these awards? We got to give it to somebody else. It's participation, man.
You got anything else you want to talk about the South Carolina game? Anything you want to mention?
No, I mean, just total domination. I mean, we beat them in every facet of the game.
Good old-fashioned ass whooping.
Yep.
Good old-fashioned one.
Love that. And we beat Muschamp.
Yeah, we did.
Suck on that, Muschamp. How do you like them apples?
Absolutely. God. And it felt good watching him just pitch fits and stomp.
He looks like a pimple. Like, he's always so red.
I feel like he was trying to look like Phil Mickelson in the all black, and I don't appreciate it. You're no Phil Mickelson, sir.
Yeah, and South Carolina's jerseys are ugly.
Really? You don't like them? I don't like their helmets. I like their jerseys. Or uniforms.
I don't like
their helmets.
anything about it. They're just... but...
Fair. Guys, we have some new friends to tell you about.
We do.
We're so excited to have Commercial Bank joining us. Landon's going to tell you all about Commercial Bank.
Yeah, so Commercial Bank is your neighborhood bank, and they're the leading financial institution with the services, capabilities, and resources of regional and national banks. Whether it's purchasing a home, saving for your child's future, or planning your next vacation, Commercial Bank is with you every step of the way to navigate life's big decisions. Life made better. Visit cbtn.com to learn more and find a branch near you. Guys, go check out Commercial Bank. Great people. And they're there for any needs that you need.
Yep, they'll take care of you. Check them out at Commercial Bank. Like Landon said, he read off
cbtn.com.
Whatever you need, they'll take care of you.
Yep.
Check them out. Recruiting.
So we had.
Sorry, go ahead.
You go ahead. You're good.
I was just, I don't know how much you want to talk about this because we are going to have Matt Ray from Vol Recruiting Reports on, who does a great job, and he's got a big question. He's got questions about Harrison Bailey. He's got answers for questions about Harrison Bailey because we're going to talk about the BJ Ojulari. Is that how you say that?
Ojulari, yeah.
You got it. Yeah. And we are going to talk about that decommitment and his teammate Harrison Bailey. So he's got answers for that. He talked to Harrison's dad.
Yep. So big recruiting weekend. You had some official visits. 4-star defensive tackle Amari Thomas. 4-star defensive end Jay Hardy was on his official visit as well. Then you had 3-star offensive guard Kyrie Miller, and then you had 4-star junior college cornerback commit Art Green take his official visit. And like you said, BJ Ojulari flips his commitment to LSU following his teammate 5-star athlete Eric Gilbert committing last week sometime.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get Matt Ray on. I guess we'll be right back.
Yeah, we'll get him on.
We'll get him on and get your recruiting questions answered.
Yeah, hang with us. Like I said, he's got answers about Harrison Bailey. So hang with us. We'll get Matt Ray on the other side of this.
We're back with Matt Ray with Vol Recruiting Reports. They also work directly with the Volunteer Roadshow. Matt, how are you doing tonight?
Hey, guys, I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing well. Especially after that victory on Saturdays, we're right on cloud nine.
Feeling good.
I think everybody is.
Absolutely, and especially hopefully it's recruiting also. Hopefully we get some recruits here soon. But I'll go ahead and start with, it was a big recruiting weekend this weekend. Had a lot of official visits, especially those in-state guys like Amari Thomas and Jay Hardy. How big was that to get them and some of these commits back on campus?
Oh, absolutely. A very, very big weekend. Some of these guys saw Tennessee, take a massive tumble to Georgia State. They saw them, not win a couple of nationally televised games in Florida and Georgia, win a sloppy game over Mississippi State, but really saw Tennessee come out and dominate a South Carolina team that made a lot of headlines for beating Georgia. So it was a big weekend to get those guys back on campus. Thomas and Hardy being the two that I feel like Tennessee made the most impact with over the weekend. Both of those guys had their family there. Both of those guys are working towards a decision with Tennessee right in the mix. And Hardy's even set his commitment date now, but he will be back at Auburn this weekend before he decides something next Wednesday.
Yeah, so with Hardy, is Auburn the biggest kind of threat to Tennessee there?
Auburn's the biggest threat there to Tennessee right now. I feel like Coach Larry Knight at Georgia Tech was down to see him for the Knoxville Catholic game. They thought they had made a little bit of a move with him coming out of an official visit the weekend before. They were trying to keep their foot on the pedal. It's an institute there at Georgia Tech, so McCallie is a big premier high school nationally, so they're trying to use that appeal for Jay. I don't think that it was going to be enough in the long run. I didn't think it ever was going to be, but he definitely gave them a look. Georgia's always kind of been the outlier in this one. They've never really pushed. So it seems like it's going to come down to Auburn and Tennessee, and Auburn has quite a bit of appeal up front for them. The guys that they have on the defensive line, Derek Brown especially, he's got a good relationship there with the defensive coordinator. It's really going to come down to a comfort level for Jay, and he's been telling us this since, back in August as he started moving nearer and nearer a decision. It ultimately is going to come down to where he feels like home, and he's got a lot of people in his party that like Tennessee. It's going to take a big visit this weekend for Auburn to win out, but they could. You never know. They're an elite program right now. They need to replace guys up front like Tennessee does, so there's some appeal, and when you get a guy like that on campus for a couple of days with family, especially in a place that's not too far from home, it's likely that Auburn could at least make things interesting those last 2 or 3 days leading up to the decision.
Absolutely. So hopefully that one goes Tennessee's way. We'll find out on November 6th. This class is all about the in-state guys pretty much. I mean, you have 8 in-state guys already committed. And there's more on the board. So, that Whitehaven trio that committed last week, how big was that for this class as a whole?
Oh, that was massive for several reasons. Tennessee essentially flips 2 guys from SEC West schools. Bryson Eason was pretty much a flip, regardless of how you want to look at it. And McDonald was a flip. Martavius French was pretty much a flip from Arkansas, and McDonald was a flip from Mississippi State, and then they won out for Eason. But, it's crazy to think that you can go to a school and take a Division I linebacking core in one class. But that's exactly what Tennessee did. They have prioritized Memphis, and they haven't let up Coach David Johnson. There's a big reason for that. That's a guy that you're going to hear more from down the road in terms of recruiter of the year if Tennessee finishes the way that they think they can finish. But Jeremy Pruitt is big on that too right now. Jeremy Pruitt, the way he handled the situation with Jeremy Banks, going out to Whitehaven, showing how big of a priority those guys are, getting back involved with Marcus Henderson, keeping their foot on the gas with Omari Thomas, has made that city, and this is from folks around Whitehaven, Briarcrest, they have told us this repeatedly. Jeremy Pruitt has made Memphis feel like a part of the state of Tennessee again. And folks in Memphis are loyal, and you heard it from all three of those recruits that committed, that they wanted to show love back to Tennessee. They wanted to be loyal to Coach Pruitt, and that's what you get in return. And it could help them win some key battles down the stretch here.
Yeah, I mean, props to Jeremy Pruitt and David Johnson. David Johnson, a guy who, when we hired him, I was like, that is the most underrated hire that Tennessee will get this season. So, yeah, I mean, he's living up to it. He's, done a great job with the receivers last year and then the running backs this year, and now he's recruiting his tail off and giving Niedermeyer a run for his money for Recruiter of the Year.
Yeah, it's crazy to think with how Tennessee could finish out down the stretch, and then the way that they have kind of played everything. They could have back-to-back Recruiter of the Years and not finish with – they're going to be close to a top 10 class if everything goes the way that it could, but not have top 10 classes and finish with a Recruiter of the Year in back-to-back years. So it's going to be fun to watch.
Absolutely. And so a little bit on the bad news part. Tennessee got some tough news yesterday with B.J. Ojulari flipping his commitment to LSU. What was your insight on that, or maybe your take on that?
So I think I talked with you guys about this before the last time I was on. Ojulari's commitment was one that I was heavily involved with. I've been to Marietta more than a handful of times since, those guys emerged as top targets. Dating back to before last November, I was at a Marietta Hillgrove game to see Jalen McCullough and Harrison Bailey and Eric Gilbert and B.J. Ojulari. And at the time, Kobe Stewart was being targeted by Tennessee a little bit. But, BJ has always been a guy that's been easy to work with. He's always been a pleasure to work with. He's always been up front. The day that he let Chad Simmons from Rivals break the news that he was committing, I reached out. I heard back from BJ pretty late that night, and he said, he wanted to do the commitment interview the next day. So we did it, and we did it Tennessee-based, and that's the way it seemed it was going to go. And then all of a sudden, a lot of national media buzz came, and it was LSU, it was LSU, it was LSU. Well, I talked to BJ later in the week about 2 days prior to his commitment. I was traveling across the country, and LSU it really was LSU. But we redone the commitment interview because things had changed so much because of Brian Niedermeyer. And that was more of a focal point of that interview. And LSU was always right there. If it was Tennessee, it was 51-49. And it was kind of the same way. And I think at the time, Eric Gilbert might have been leaning a little bit Tennessee. Harrison was already there. Tennessee had prioritized him. It was close to home. BJ was ready to have his recruitment over with. I mean, his phone was getting blown up from every angle. It's not really a surprise, but it's a big blow to this class because he was the guy as far as edge rushers are concerned.
Right. So you mentioned that it's been right there with Tennessee and LSU the whole time. Is this commitment, or is his recruiting completely over? Could you see another flip? I mean, LSU being a top team may get somebody. So you mentioned he's obviously the premier edge rusher. Is this something, though, that's set in stone? Are you going to wait until papers sign? How do you see it?
It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to get back in. I don't think you can rule anything out right now. BJ's a quiet kid, and you don't have to drag stuff out of him, but you can tell when something is kind of eating at him or he's having a hard time with something, and that's the vibe you get from him a lot of the time that you talk to him when you look at his recruitment. And I think LSU's where his heart is. But now at the end of the day, Georgia and Tennessee aren't going to relent, and Auburn isn't either. The decision's only going to get tougher for him, and it could come back to finding that comfortable place close to home, and that could be Tennessee, that could be Georgia, that could be Auburn. I think all three of those schools right there still have a chance to get in this. He committed to Tennessee because he felt a comfort level with Coach Niedermeyer and Coach Rumpf and Coach Pruitt, and he knew that he was up there board. Now, the thing that's going to interest me is Tennessee has to go back to work right away. They can't focus on trying to flip him. They can't give all their effort to flipping him. They have to find somebody to replace him now. LSU's pretty deep in their class. All they're going to have to do is keep recruiting him. They just can keep recruiting him, and they've got Eric Gilbert in his ear now. It's going to be a tough task, but I could see somebody coming in close to signing day and pulling one off. If I was going to bet on that happening, though, I think it would be Georgia.
Gotcha. So more on that kind of BJ front, but I guess Marietta. You went down and you talked to Harrison Bailey and family today. You had an article about it. I'll let you explain some of that. He is Tennessee though.
Oh yeah. So went down on Wednesday, this past Wednesday, to the All-American jersey presentation with Harrison, and it's a ceremony. It was actually the biggest ceremony in the Road to the Dome presentation tour, whatever however you want to look at that. They had 11 guys that received their jersey that night. Talked to Harrison for a little bit, and at the time, Harrison said that he had known for a couple of weeks that he was done, that it just ultimately came down to a belief in Coach Pruitt and what they wanted him to do and how they have prioritized him. Talked about what he saw from the offense. And the Mississippi State win was big for him. He got back on campus for that game. That helped, lock some stuff in stone. Last night, heard from his dad after BJ committed, because there was a lot of folks that were, talking off the wall that Harrison was next, that, we weren't going to hold on to anybody from Marietta. Heard from Orville Bailey, and he just let this fan base know that there is no chance Harrison flips on his commitment, period. He loves Knoxville, and we believe it's the perfect place for him. And he just wanted me to reiterate that he's not going anywhere. So that's kind of where that article came from. Ran it by him. I said, let me get a few quotes from you, run this article, and that's what we did. But no, Harrison's pretty locked in right now. At the same event, he told Rusty Manziel of 247 Sports, who I plug every chance I get as one of the best, if not the best, in the business. He told Rusty at the same event that he was done. So I don't think we're going to have to worry about Harrison Bailey at this point right now. Family seems pretty firm. He seems pretty firm.
Well, that's good to hear, because B.J. Ojulari was a big part of this class, but I think Harrison Bailey is the class.
Right.
In a lot of Tennessee's opinion, because it is the most important position at that quarterback position. So, with this class, I guess Tennessee fans kind of want to know, who are some other commits in this class that could look at other places?
Well, right now we've talked to a lot of guys. We interviewed Art Green last night. That's the junior college commit from Hutchinson. He's set in stone with his words. He's locked in with Tennessee. May take a couple of visits, nothing planned. Not really looking to take any visits right now, especially with the way his season's going. There on a pretty big tear. Cooper Mays is locked in with this class. Keyshawn Lawrence, he's been on some visits, but at the end of the day, you have a pretty good feeling that Keyshawn's locked in with this class. He got back up there this weekend and was recruiting hard, and he's never stopped. The Whitehaven trio, they're pretty well locked in. Javonte Spraggins talked to him, and he remains locked in. He hasn't had any schools come into the picture for him other than, Illinois has always been there, and that's pretty close to home for him. But that offer was on the table before Tennessee, and he had his parents on the trip, and he fell in love at Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of the difference between him and Antonio Johnson. Antonio committed. I don't think he had any family with him on the trip, and they were like, he had a little bit of a hard time balancing things out. But, Javonte, he's still in the class. The one that I'm trying to work on right now, we'll see this Friday, is James Robinson. He has reaffirmed his commitment 2 or 3 times, but we continue to hear a little bit that some schools are trying to fight for him, Auburn and Texas A&M in particular. And Texas A&M is really good at recruiting that school right there in Carver as well. So right now there's nobody that I want to say that BJ was probably the one that I felt was least attached to this class. And, right now I think that's probably going to ring true for most of these guys. T. Hodge, He's not going anywhere. Mordecai McDaniel, I think he's looking around, but it was big for him to get back on campus this weekend. Haven't been able to get in touch with him, but I've talked to some folks around him. And then Darion Williamson, I'm not sure what's going to happen with him. Season-ending knee injury, was already communicating with Memphis a good bit, hasn't made it back to campus in a little while. That could end up being something that plays out down the stretch where, both parties decide to go a different way. He decides to, stay closer to home. That one could get interesting, but we'll see about that one.
Well, that's good stuff. Who are some guys that Tennessee fans haven't really heard much about that Tennessee is high on that could end up in this class when it's all said and done?
This class has been, pretty well cut and dry as far as who they've wanted, who they've went after. Marcus Henderson is a guy that came back into the picture pretty hard. Tennessee's trying to get an official visit out of him. Laneith Whitehead, Tennessee would like to have him in this class. It seems like they're battling South Carolina, and they may lose that battle right now. A name to know is Jamari Butler out of Alabama. Tennessee had him on campus. They offered. They made a big impression on him. He's the guy that could replace Ojulari as one of the edge rushers. They for some reason right now do not seem to be prioritizing Reggie Grimes. Not sure if they don't think he fits in their scheme. I'm not sure what the deal is there because he qualifies everything academically, but it doesn't seem like they're making a strong push for him. I could be wrong about that though. And then another name at receiver to keep in mind is Kentron Portier from Miami Palmetto. He's a guy that Tennessee really likes. They went down, evaluated, they offered. They're trying to get him back to campus. They'll probably get an official visit from him pretty soon. But he's a 6'2", around 195, 200-pound receiver that he can move. And, look at Jawan Jennings, Marquez Callaway. They love these type of receivers, and that's what they're looking to add into this class. So Portier is a name to keep in mind going forward. But outside of that, there's not anybody that's really just kind of outlined that most folks don't know about.
Yeah, and after the season is over with and it starts getting into December and January, probably some names will pop back up because that's just how everything goes. Classes fill out and everything like that.
You look at Jordan Young a couple of years back. Tennessee ultimately didn't win out on him, but they come across Jordan Young by reading his name in the All-State press release. So they're scouring trying to find quality players. They went to the All-State team. They came across his kid, watched his film, saw his video game numbers, and went and got him essentially until Florida State, got him on signing day. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, there's going to be names come up between now and the early signing period, and then probably a couple come up between the early signing period and the late signing period.
So 2021 class, we'll look into that a little bit. Who are some guys Tennessee could be in the mix for in that class?
I'm going to say right now Tennessee's going to try to stay in state a little bit more in that class, but they're going to be recruiting a little bit more on a national level too. Kind of like last year's class, I think they're going to try to pick and choose in state. I think right now, for me personally, depending on how this situation plays out with the tight end, they've already got Elijah Howard, who is one of the best athletes in the state. I don't care what any of the ranking services say. This kid he's a Mr. Football caliber player. He has every move in the bag. He can play defender. He's got a little bit of a Jerry Jeudy dead leg. This kid's going to be special. Priority number one, I think right now, early on from visits and the way that he's consistently came to camp, and it's the heavyweight battle that I think everybody's going to have. Tennessee fans dial in on somebody early every year. It was Darnell Wright. This year it was Eric Gilbert and Noah Sewell and Darnell Washington. Dylan Brooks is the name to remember in the 2021 class. Guy from Hanley, Alabama, right on the Georgia line down there. He has been to campus several times. Tennessee has been on him since they got there, and they're not going to let up. Isaiah Johnson is a 5-star cornerback. from Bluefield, West Virginia. You're going to hear about both of those guys. Those are the 2 5-stars that I kind of expect to see Tennessee make a strong push for, and they could land both of those guys if everything goes according to plan. Another guy is from up in Maryland, Des Moines Robinson. He's from the D.C. area. Tennessee's had him down to campus twice. He's rated as the number 5 player in the nation on ESPN. He's a freak defensive end, plays really well with his hand in the dirt. But he's really good in space too. They have a couple of those guys that they're really targeting in that class. You know, at running back, right now the plan is for Elijah Howard to play defense. At running back, Tennessee's going to have to hit on the elite back at some point. It's been a little while since it's happened. And I'm not taking anything away from Eric Gray, but I'm talking, one of the top-of-the-line guys coming out of high school, a big bruising back. There's a couple they can go get there, Cody Brown and, Evan Pryor. He's not a bruising back, but Tennessee's in on him pretty heavily. And then in-state, you've got the priorities of Eli Sutton, one of the top 10 offensive tackles in the nation, Trey Curry, who's the number 1 player in the state and a top 10 athlete in the nation. And I think this kid's really high up the board. He's out in Savannah right below Memphis is Hudson Wolf. He's a tight end. Tennessee may not add a tight end to this class. If they do, it's not going to be any of the guys that they want. And Hudson Wolf's going to become a major priority then, and that's going to be a heavyweight battle with Clemson and Alabama and Florida and Georgia involved. So that was going to be fun to watch. And Tennessee really likes him. He's a big frame tight end that can really play.
We had a question on Periscope. We may have addressed it. 4-star wide receiver Jones Bell was on campus this week. Committed to Alabama, I believe. Any word on that? That was a question we had.
As far as I've had limited contact with him. Tennessee's always been consistent. It's always been about Niedermeyer. It's always been about getting back to campus. He liked what he saw. He liked Tennessee throwing the ball around. But other than that, I've had very limited contact with him. I've actually been working to try to set something more up today. But yeah, Tennessee's going to have their hands full trying to flip him. But Alabama's still trying to, recruit at a higher level, and they have guys that even though he's committed are higher on the board, such as Rakim Jarrett. And if they flip one of those guys, that could push Theo Jones-Bell right into Tennessee's hands ultimately.
Yeah, so I mean, this could be a big class, and next class is big. I mean, it looks like Tennessee, and it's crazy to think about how in-state is really becoming the priority. You talked about David Johnson and Jeremy Pruitt doing a good job of making Memphis feel a part of the state of Tennessee, and I think that's huge. So this week, you guys will go out to different Friday night games. Where are you guys headed, and what are y'all kind of working on here in the next couple weeks?
So this week we're going to be kind of all over the place. Brandon is going to Memphis. I think the plan right now may be Briarcrest and Memphis University, which will be a big matchup of remaining lineman targets with Marcus Henderson and Omari Thomas squaring off against each other in a battle of two of the best teams around the city there. He may end up at Whitehaven, but right now the plan is to go down, see Omari and see Marcus and see what's going on with those guys. I'll be at McCallie where they will host Innsworth. You got Jay Hardy and Keyshawn Lawrence playing in that game. Got Andre Turrentine, 2021 4-star defensive back at Innsworth. Got Isaiah Horton, a 2022 wide receiver at Innsworth, who is a guy that has a lot of untapped potential and is going to be a highly rated guy at some point during the recruiting cycle. Dale is heading to Fort Payne, Alabama, where James Robinson is finally coming up from South Alabama. He's coming up to play in Fort Payne, which is about an hour southwest of Chattanooga, I guess, if I'm looking at the map right. And he'll be there to see James Robinson and see what's going on there. And then I don't know if we'll have anybody else anywhere, but we could have another guy at the Knoxville Catholic game, just depending on how things go there.
Gotcha. Well, Matt, we appreciate you coming on. It's always a pleasure talking recruiting with you. We'll have to do it again soon. I'm sure y'all are going to be busy with, early signing period coming up here in the next couple months. So we appreciate you on. Wish you the best of luck and good luck. And, this Friday, get those recruits in for us, okay?
All right, yeah, guys, we appreciate it. Luckily for Tennessee, it didn't turn to recruiting season early. They've still got some bowl hopes left out there, so that pushes our timeline back. So as always, you know where to get me at if you ever need me. Thanks, guys.
Absolutely.
Thanks,
have a good one, Matt.
That was Matt Ray from Vol Recruiting Reports. Always good to have him on. Does a great job covering Vol recruiting. You can find him at, I believe it's just volunteerroadshow.com. They've recently changed kind of the umbrella they're working under. So I didn't write down that website, but I believe it's just volunteerroadshow.com. Either way, you can check them out at _VR2 _ Vol Recruiting Reports on Twitter, and they can definitely get you in the right direction in terms of where to go. We appreciate having him on. Got to talk we had a lot of questions, got a lot of those answered. Definitely good to get that. Gonna kind of jump backwards to the South Carolina game real quick. We do have some fan reactions. We had 2 people leave us voicemails this week. Gonna play those real quick. Couple guys that you could tell were feeling good. Got to teach them how to get some excitement out. They weren't exactly using their excitement. But we'll play those for you. I think we only got one name in these, but here you go.
Yo, what's up, guys? I just wanted to, talk about how the Vols did tonight. I think, the team overall finally showed that they want to win. They finally showed that, they are playing with heart. I think JG, after having like a whole, I feel like he had like a hold on him mentally. And today he just went out there slinging until he got hurt. It was good seeing both quarterbacks that aren't even our starting quarterbacks be able to lead a team that went out there and competed with like Georgia and beat Georgia in overtime. So, it's promising. I mean, if you just think about if our team would have played this well together and clicked earlier, like what else or how different it could be. But, I mean, I'm glad the seniors and Jawan and Marquez were able to have a big game. I think it really lights a spark under everybody. The O-line looked amazing. The defense looked amazing. I was just impressed all around, and hopefully we can keep this going and try to win out the rest of the season and get into a decent bowl game. Go Vols.
Absolutely. 100% with him.
Go Vols.
Go Vols. He kind of mentioned what you said, the seniors playing well. So
Senior night, baby.
Yeah, we got, I think it's Brian, maybe? I don't remember. Got stuck in traffic. Left us a voicemail. Leave us your voicemails when you're on your way home. It's great. It's a great time to talk.
Hands free?
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Chris.
Chris.
So I kind of just left the game, so I'm kind of driving around now. I'm in traffic, so I'm trying to just say what I can, Somebody just texted me. So, man, you don't know how good it felt telling South Carolina bye, just telling them to leave and stuff. Like, man, y'all had to be there. Like, that atmosphere was crazy. I mean, who would have known? I mean, like, it just looked like it was going so downhill from the penalties, like, the BS penalties. Really, it was crazy. Like, what can you do, though? Anyway, thank you, guys.
Absolutely.
Love it.
Speechless he was pretty close to speechless. Had some words for speechless, but that's kind of how everybody felt leaving the game. We talked about it. You felt down there in the first quarter, first half maybe, and they came out and responded.
I wouldn't say down.
Not down, but we were losing at halftime. Like I said, I don't necessarily blame you for checking out because, we talked about we've been a Vol fan long enough. We know how it goes. But you had some penalties go against you. You had some plays go against you. They responded. We're good. We're here. Yeah. We're winning. We're, like Matt just mentioned, we're chasing bowl eligibility right now, and it's a real possibility in the looking ahead. So it's definitely looking there. Leave us your fan reactions. Landon tweets out that number. Do you have the number right now?
I do. So it's 865-257-9539.
If you want to call right now, do it.
257-9539.
Call right now if you want. No, don't call right now. Call when we get off. I'll play it on Thursday.
Yeah, there you go.
So we're here on Monday. UT's got their first exhibition basketball game in Thompson. Will be there. So we'll be back on Thursday, by the way. I'll remind you at the end of the show. But you can leave us a voicemail after the exhibition if you'd like. Whatever. We're here to by fans for fans. Exactly. We're one of you all. Exactly. College football recap. Let's look at that real quick. Couple of interesting scores. Couple of people proving me wrong. Couple of people proving me right. Don't know how I feel about that.
Did you bet on?
Huh?
Did you bet?
I didn't bet any. I'm just, the way we talking.
Okay.
SMU beating Houston. What about Dana Holgerson going to Houston and just getting absolutely ran through by every team that shows up?
Yeah, he sucks.
Alabama, Arkansas. We're not Arkansas. Feels good to not be Arkansas.
We're not.
We're not Arkansas.
What about Mac Jones? 18 for 22. 3 touchdowns.
Does he play when Tua comes back? I'm just kidding.
God, no. But, I mean, that's a different person that we saw against Tennessee.
Well, because that Tennessee front seven wore him out.
Yeah, he didn't want any more of that.
No. The Auburn LSU.
He got laid on for the last time.
Yeah, absolutely. Auburn LSU. Did Coach O almost coach LSU out of that game? Not kicking that field goal? Did it scare you a little bit?
Damn near.
Damn near. Absolutely. Well, you guys got an apology. Speaking of damn near, you got an apology from old Austin on Saturday.
He gave you an apology.
But LSU going up to number 1 with the 23-20 win over number 9 Auburn. 7. I can't read my own handwriting.
Yeah.
Number 7 at the time that they beat them. Sorry.
That was a good game.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, we were at the game, so we didn't really get to watch it that much. But
no. We got to keep up with it.
Yeah, it was a good game. I think Auburn is a really good team. I think
I think
Matt said that they are an elite program. I think is the exact words he said. But I agree with that. I think they are, and it's crazy that we beat them last year.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We beat them again.
We'll do it again in Alabama.
Bet.
Team that proved me wrong, Wisconsin, just getting
what
waxed
in
by
the
Ohio
world?
State. I was really hoping they'd hang on, but that's
our fault.
It is. I mean, we should not be rooting for another team. That's stupid.
Yep.
But somebody that did get the upset, and it's the wrong Kansas that gave them fits. Kansas State. Which I didn't say Kansas would beat Oklahoma. Don't mishear me. I just thought Les Miles might give an Oklahoma team some fits.
Yep.
But Kansas State, which Chris Kleeman, is that how you say his name? He used to coach at North Dakota State.
Oh, yeah.
Now at Kansas State. Getting the win over number 5 Oklahoma. And that wasn't an easy win either. Oklahoma kind of tore back there for a second, and Kansas State was able to hold on. 48-41 over number 5 Oklahoma, and you see they're assuming all these playoff teams that are still undefeated. A few of them will obviously lose. LSU or Alabama will be at least a one-loss team. Penn State, Ohio State will at least be a one-loss team. But there's still some playoff teams there that are going to be undefeated.
I think Oklahoma kind of put them they're going to have to win out, and other people are going to have to lose.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, your playoff hopes are probably dead.
Yeah, because
and Florida could be a one-loss.
That defense is trash.
Florida could potentially be a one-loss. I doubt it, but a one-loss conference champion. That's possible.
Yeah.
So, and I think a one-loss SEC champion would trump a one-loss.
I think a one-loss Big Ten team trumps Oklahoma.
Trumps Big 12.
Yeah.
Interesting. I like that. Depends on who they lose to, I guess.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. But I think Penn State and Ohio State gets in over Oklahoma on that. I mean, they are because they're undefeated, but
right. If they're
one loss, yes.
Yeah. Penn State beat Michigan State 28-7. Where'd that Penn State team go that was scoring? I guess they got shut down pretty early. I need to really watch a full Penn State game. I haven't watched a full game yet.
I haven't either. And yeah, I would like to because I think this team is for real.
Yeah. They play Minnesota undefeated this week. Is it Penn State, Minnesota?
Yeah, that sounds right because Minnesota's one of my fails of the
college.
Week. Yeah.
Yeah, you get that one?
Yeah.
Then Michigan, man, proving me right about Notre Dame falling apart. 45-14, just, man, took the Catholics out of church and out back and wore them out. Wore them out.
Made them pick their own switch, too.
Yeah, exactly. What about Oregon getting a game-winning field goal over Washington State? I'm glad we steered clear of Mike Leach, man.
Pac-12 sucks.
Texas getting beat pretty good by TCU. I told somebody to take
ugly uniforms. Did you see those?
No.
They had red in it.
Huh?
They had red in it.
TCU? Yeah, they wear those every year because the Horned Frog has red eyes or something like that.
I can't. It looks hideous.
Yeah, it is. I know what you're talking about. But Texas was a 1-point underdog, and I told somebody to take Texas. I thought they might win. I didn't know they'd get beat by 10. 37-27 TCU. I did write the Minnesota score down just because they are undefeated.
They are undefeated.
You got to at least respect that a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
To an extent. I mean, we've seen their schedule, though. They beat Maryland 52-10.
We'll see how real they are this year.
Exactly.
Or this week. Sorry.
This week, yeah. And then
this year, too.
I got a game out of the East, SEC East. Kentucky, 27. Missouri, 7. What's happening to Barry Odom and Kelly Bryant and Derek Dooley?
Was it 29-7?
29. Did I write it down? I can't read my own handwriting.
I thought it was 29-7.
29-7, maybe. Can't read my own handwriting.
Yeah, what? I don't know, man. I mean, it was in a freaking rainstorm, but still.
Kentucky had to play in it too.
Yeah,
that's my joke I've had about that. Yeah, no, I agree. And apparently Kelly Bryant's had some hamstring issues, so not apparently he has. I just didn't think that would linger this long.
Lynn Bowden Jr. is an athlete.
Yeah,
he's solid.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I don't know how Kentucky gets these players. I guess we just miss out on them.
They pick up the scraps.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got some more new friends to tell you about. I'm so excited about.
Yeah.
About new friends. I love new friends.
New friends.
And this one is a relief.
It is a relief.
We all need this kind of friend.
That's our new friends at Manscaped. Guys, listen to this story. So I need to do some trimming. You know, the hedges need to trim. And it took me about 2 hours because, I mean, it's hard to get in those
2 hours?
It's hard to get in those areas that are sensitive. You know, the testes.
But 2 hours.
The testes.
I guess you really did need this friend. You needed this
friend. Well, I want to get, but you're nervous. You're nervous through the whole process.
Shake a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
So every hair is key.
Exactly.
Guys, check our new friends at Manscaped. Manscaped has redesigned the electric trimmer. Their Lawnmower 2.0 has proprietary skin-safe technology so the trimmer won't nick or snag your nuts.
I've used it. Beautiful.
It is wonderful. Beautiful. It is awesome.
And you know what else I've used? You're going to get to it. Ball deodorant.
Yes. Don't use the same trimmer on your face as you're using on your balls. That is disgusting.
That's a big mistake. Rookie mistake.
Yeah. That's how you get herpes. Maybe.
Well, that's how you get herpes to your face, maybe. I think if you have herpes, you have herpes. I don't think it stays.
Yeah, you get it. Manscaped also has the crop preserver. I like that. That's good. Do too. An anti-chafing ball deodorant and moisturizer. You put deodorant on your pits. Why not put it on the smelliest part on your body?
You're looking at a man who knows the power of Gold Bond.
Oh yeah, you chafe.
Now check out the power of Manscaped.
Caleb's got some thick thighs. He chafes.
I chafe. I'm a walker. I'll walk anywhere.
Yeah. So you put it on your armpits, put it on your balls, the smelliest part of your body. Now you can get 20% off plus free shipping using the promo code armchair at manscaped.com. Always use the right tools for the job. Be good to the mansticles.
Yeah. Is that your own word?
Yeah.
Wow.
Mansticles.
I think only men have testicles, so I don't think it needs its own word.
But you hear like breasticles, so mansticles.
Okay. Whatever. I'm fine with it. I'm okay with it. I'll allow it.
Okay.
Guys, check out Manscaped.
I just made that up on the spot. Absolutely. Please don't ever use that. I'll never use it again.
Go check out Armchair. Excuse me. Go check out Manscaped. Use promo code Armchair. They've been great friends to us, and we're excited to continue our partnership with them. Like I've said, I've used the electric trimmer so far and the ball deodorant, and they're great. They're friendly. I'm smelling good. I'm feeling good. I'm looking good.
Hey.
Yeah.
Mansicle.
My lady's going to be happy. Let's just say
okay. Yeah.
Thanks to Manscaped. Thanks to my good friends at Manscaped. Use it. 20% off free shipping. You aren't going to get a better deal than that. Check out Manscaped.
And you won't be scared to shave your balls.
Absolutely. Never, ever again.
There's never another worry. It's good. No.
Moving into our segments. This time around, we've got most important and fail. I feel like I've got a lot, so I may need to run through some of mine. I've got my first one. I'll go first. Did you see the guy dressed? I didn't even get what school. Dressed up as Forrest Gump for Halloween.
Yeah.
And I don't even know where he hit the ball to. But he takes off running to first base and runs exactly like Forrest Gump. Very impressive. Yeah. He had to practice that a lot.
Yeah, that was good.
Runs past first, past the outfield wall. And he jumps over like the foul wall, and runs around the outfield wall, and I assume keeps running.
That you got to sell it if you're going to dress like me. You got to sell.
That's the important. That's the important part. A lot of people miss about Halloween costumes. When you dress up, you have to sell the costume.
Yeah,
and be that person.
Like I dressed up as Damien from Mean Girls, and
when did you do that?
For casino night.
Okay.
Yeah. So I dressed up as Damien. And somebody was like, "What is that?" And I was like, "You don't even work here. Like, you have to sell it."
You do.
So I like that. You got to sell. That's selling it. That's going all out.
Absolutely. I loved it.
Because you're going to be wore out after that.
You are.
So my first one is Vince Carter. Checked in for the first time in his 22nd NBA season. That's the most by any player in NBA history. Vince Carter.
I can't remember. I saw something about how
someone
ran a timeline about how old they were when Vince Carter had these different accomplishments. It was wild. It was awesome. My next one is the Purdue punter. Did you see his punt?
I didn't.
I'll have to pull it up here in a second. An absolutely incredible punt. I think it looks ugly at first and rolls perfectly to the 1 yard line, hits the pylon, and goes out of bounds.
Oh, nice.
So like at the 1 centimeter line.
Wow.
Yeah, it was an incredible punt. I'll see if I can find it while you're going through that.
So my next one is the Cubs hiring David Ross as their next manager.
Is that a most important or a fail? I don't know how I feel about it.
I like David Ross.
I like David Ross too. It's just like,
I mean, he's going to be a player's coach.
You fired a World Series winning coach.
I agree. That's a fail on that. Most important, David Ross, because I like David Ross.
I'm with you. Like, I like it, but I'm like, I just the trade-off you made. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's see. While I'm trying to look this up. My next one's Khalil McKenzie Jr. You didn't know you'd be hearing about him again, did you? Tweeted Saturday night, can't wait to coach up little white kids named Juwan in 10 to 15 years at Tennessee football camps. Damn near might tear me up.
Yeah.
Love it, Khalil. By the way, my kid's name is going to be Jennings. He's way too white to be Juwan.
I have one added on to that. So a lady tweeted at him and said, I already know of one Jennings named after him, but she's a girl. Also, her dad is a Georgia fan and didn't realize why her mama named her that until after the birth certificate was signed.
I remember when that story came out. I loved it.
Power move.
We might have already read that off at the podcast because I remember eating it up.
That's awesome.
Absolutely.
Power move.
Absolutely.
Also, that guy's a dumbass.
My next one. Baseball's fun again. Baseball's a lot of fun again.
I saw that.
Titties at the World Series, baby.
Yeah.
You got a lot of people tuned in to the World Series that wouldn't normally tune into the World Series. And then they kicked him out for life, so I guess it's not fun again. Yeah. Make baseball fun again. That's all I'm saying. Make it fun again.
I'll also have the guy right behind home plate Tennessee stuff on. That's awesome. They're everywhere. We're everywhere.
Hey, I've got a dual most important fail. Are you done with most importance so I can segue this? Or you got one? Got any more most importance?
No, I'm good. Go ahead.
You're good? So this is my segue. So it's a most important for Juwan Jennings and Jeremy Pruitt and a fail for all the people who said that he shouldn't come back. So Jeremy Pruitt today at this press conference said, I didn't know anything about Juwan Jennings when I got the job. There were details about what all happened here. I asked a lot of people in the building what they thought, and most of them who said I wouldn't let him come back, they don't work here anymore. If you come at the king, you best not miss.
Power move.
I mean, I love that. He is the reason you give people second chances. Guys like him.
Oh yeah, look at it.
Worked out nicely.
I'm glad we chose Juwan Jennings over Brady Hoke. That was a great trade.
Right.
We won the trade.
I remember arguing with someone. I was like, Brady Hoke's going to be the interim when we fire Butch Jones. That's why I really don't care when we fire Butch Jones. And they're like, no, he's not. And I was like, yes, he is. He's on our staff and he's a head coach. Like, he's been a head coach.
Yep.
Brady Hoke. I was like, it's easy. Like, that was an easy guess. I didn't even have to try. And we sucked with him, too. So it really sucked.
Where's he even at? He's a defensive line coach.
Is he coaching right now?
Yeah, it's like a small school. He's like a defensive line coach.
Interesting.
Not
Didn't know
anything. That. Sucks. My fellow of the week is Minnesota. So they tweeted a letter to ESPN College Game Day wanting them to cover their game against Penn State this week. And I don't hate on that, but I do hate on their undefeated resume. San Diego State, Fresno State, Georgia Southern, Purdue, Illinois, Nebraska, Rutgers, Maryland. And the first part, San Diego State was by a touchdown. Fresno State was by 3. Georgia Southern by 3. Purdue by 7.
Yeah,
not great.
Easy on that one.
Yeah. Ugh. Not great.
No, not great at all. You got any more fails?
I do. So, Scott Frost says...
I got this one, too. I'm going to piggyback this one because I did have it written down.
So, he doesn't want his players who wear hoodies in the cold as he wears a hoodie while he's indoors.
Uh-oh. That's not a good look.
Not great.
Not great. Not great at all. I've got a. I'm gonna show the punt real quick. I guess you can't see it. I won't show.
Oh, did you see Texas Tech?
No. What is it?
So, I think either they block a field goal or they pick up a fumble or something, and then the guy who picks it up fumbles. Oh, so they miss. The field goal was blocked. They pick it up. They fumble, and the team who kicked the field goal recovered it, so they got to kick again.
Oh, I did see
they
that.
lost.
He like tossed. Yeah, that was so bad. That was terrible. How do you even like? I no.
Yeah, so it was a fumble. It wasn't. They like tried to.
They blocked the kick and then fumbled it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did see that. That was so bad. That was terrible, man. Just terrible.
So
yeah, anything else?
College game day is going to Memphis.
Yeah, what about that?
That's weird.
Who are they playing again?
SMU.
That'll be a good game.
Yeah.
That'll be a good game. You know it'll be a really good game? Not really. Tennessee, hopefully not. Hopefully not. Tennessee versus UAB.
Hopefully
10.5 point favorites.
Yep.
10.5 point favorites. Guys, thank you all so much for listening. It was great having Matt Ray from Vol Recruiting Reports on. It was great talking USC. We're moving on to UAB. We've got Vol basketball's first exhibition game. Wednesday night. Who are they playing again? I don't even know.
Eastern Michigan?
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
I don't even think it's Eastern Michigan. It's somebody below that. It's like Northeastern Michigan.
Yeah.
So something along those lines. Really excited to get into Thompson Boling Arena and watch them for the first time playing someone else. That's going to be fun. Really excited for this basketball season. So we will be doing our next episode, and we'll preview UAB. We'll recap some basketball. Baseball also doing their fall scrimmage. Is it Fall World Series?
Yep.
This week.
Today.
First one started today.
Mm-hmm.
They've got, if you're around campus in the afternoon, check out those times. You may be able to make it out. It's free for the public. You can walk right on in and enjoy some baseball. So if you're over there, check those times on Vol Baseball. You may be able to watch a little bit of that. Make sure you all check out the podcast, Spotify, iTunes, Google Play. We're even on YouTube, where there's podcasts, More Important Issues. Twitter, _issues. Facebook, More Important Issues. We're there. Come find us.
Absolutely, and that's all we got. Go Vols, we're bringing the boat in, and we out.
Up in horsey heaven, here's the thing. You trade your legs for angels' wings. And once we've all said goodbye, you take a running leap and you learn to fly. Your 5,000 candles in the wind. And though we all miss you every day, we know you're up there in heaven's hay. But here's the part that hurts the most. Cannot rise.